Podcast with Jensen Maydew, Tony Caranco, and your host, Wes Underwood.
And welcome into the Sports Timeout Podcast, brought to you by Jefferson's 75-cent boneless wings on Wednesdays, or my favorite, free fried pickle Fridays. Go get you one of them. I know they got dollar bone-in wings too, I think on Tuesday. But I mean, yeah, good specials. Always got some good stuff going on there. And then also brought to you by Robert's Integrative Dentistry in Joplin. Ready for a wider, straighter smile with Valentine's Day? Be sure to schedule your appointment today at 417-622-0404. I mean, it's crazy that Valentine's Day is already being talked about. We're a month away.
Pretty crazy.
It's so weird.
Huh? Get some presents. Get some presents, flowers, and chocolates, maybe.
Yeah.
And don't forget.
Oh yeah, don't forget. Don't forget.
You forget.
I haven't. Surprisingly, I haven't yet.
Have you ever forgotten like a birthday or anything?
No, I'm pretty good at keeping up with that stuff.
Yeah.
My birthday's been forgotten, but
yeah. Well, you're a man.
I mean, it also falls around Christmas time too, so
yeah,
it's a lot going on there.
That's true.
But yeah, Wes Underwood, Tony, Jensen's in Boston, I guess.
Allegedly.
Maybe going to see the Celtics. I mean, that's the only reason I see her going out there this time of year. So, but
yeah.
Well, before we get started, make sure to hit that like and follow button right there. And yeah, well, we'll get right to it. Ghetto Tacos NCAA talk, and we mentioned Valentine's Day. Ghetto's Tacos is going to be having a Valentine's giveaway. You won't want to miss that. Tacos are involved, so that's a good date night already. So, but yeah, we go ahead and talk Colorado football. One of the newest additions for the Buffaloes and Coach Prime, and that is the son of former WWE superstar Goldberg. His son is 6 foot, 215 pounds. He was heading to Bama and is now going to Buffalo. Or going to be a Buffalo. So, yeah.
Good for him.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the right move.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the player, right? Depending on the player, like if you're going there for a specific reason, like if you're a lineman or a D lineman, you're probably good. You know what I mean, honestly. But if you're going to, going there because you're a skills player, I mean, I totally understand leaving or at least reevaluating it, because it could also put you in a better situation as an athlete. But I mean, it's understandable.
I mean, it's definitely good for Coach Prime's defense, that's for sure.
For sure.
But I mean, also, we've seen a few more guys from Bama. They came out Wednesday, by the way. Alabama did, stating that the Saban standard's going to stay the same. Well, you wouldn't be losing this many recruits if the Saban standard was going to stay the same. Clearly, these players are seeing something because they're jetting out of there. So far, I believe we're up to 10 players that have decommitted, and then also about 3 players that have left the program already since Saban's left. So I don't know. Do you think it's going to hurt them in the long run, or do you think people buy in and they'll be okay with the Saban standard?
I mean, so it's going to depend on 2 things. I don't think really it's going to depend on one thing. If the next guy does hold the same standard as Nick Saban, then it's not going to matter. Because if he has the same standard, they're going to be just as good, no matter who the. So that's it's going to depend on that. Is it going to be tough? Yes, it's going to be really tough. But he has to come in with the mentality that he is the refined version of Nick Saban.
It's true. It's going to be a lot to put on his shoulders. That's a bold statement.
Absolutely, but he knows what he's for.
Yeah. I'll give it to him. I'll be one of the ones sitting back and watching him. I'll wish him good luck. I mean, that's hard to do. Saban did it after, I mean, Bama just was horrible for a few years, and Saban came in and he promised after a couple of losses that happened, he said that it's never going to happen again, and he made a bold statement there, and there you go. It happened. They didn't really have those big losses until the last couple of years, but he kept it going strong for quite a bit. So,
I mean, and even then, like the losses, like they always bounce back like extremely well. So
yeah.
like they were tough, and he held them to that standard. And I mean, you should see more losses, right? Like it should make sense. You know, like
Yeah.
I mean, like, but he had it monopolized.
He did. It was interesting to watch also. I mean, just very well orchestrated.
Right. But now I mean, he got out, in my opinion, because of the NIL and the transfer portal, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he was losing control of the reins, and he knew that this new era, he wasn't ready for it. You know what I mean? Because
I agree.
because now it's now instead of just being about like, well, where do I want to go because they win and they get exposure? Now it's going to be like, okay, who's going to give me my most money and exposure?
Yeah.
You know, I like it though.
Yeah.
I think if the NCAA and these schools are making money exploiting these adults, you know what I mean? Because they are adults. They're 18.
Yeah.
Student athletes are not. They're adults, and if you're exploiting their work and their talents, you know, for money, they should be compensated or at least allowed to make money off their likeness.
Yep.
And I think this is exactly what the NCAA deserves.
It's true. I agree. Now we switch over to NCAA men's basketball, and we talk Mizzou. After a big loss to Alabama, the news wasn't about the game, but what happened during the game, and that is Bama's coach Oates shoved Missouri's Aiden Shaw into the team bench as Shaw and another Alabama player were just kind of arguing about something. And during the confrontation, coach just shoved him out of the way and didn't see if everything was okay after he shoved him. He later came back and apologized, saying he respects Coach Gates and says Shaw seems like a good kid. It was an unfortunate situation. And then he apologized to both of them like that. Like, look, I don't care who you are as an adult. You don't shove kids. And yes, I'm saying you're an adult at 18 to 22, but you're also still kind of a kid at that point as well. I mean, you're learning how to do things still. And I mean, that's why you have a coach. And these guys don't know what to do on their own. And they're just learning and shaping these guys. I mean, but
So, did that player touch the coach first? By
he
any
did
chance?
not. He
He
did
did
not.
not.
No.
I got you.
Coach
Yeah,
just came over from the side and shoved him. So,
Okay.
and then he yelled something. I couldn't quite read the lips, but he yelled
Well,
something. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, well, it's a tough situation, right? Because I mean, you're passionate about your players,
yeah.
you know, and he's protecting his players. And even though you say they're kids, they're also adults, and they're also your responsibility. So, in a
Yeah.
way, like that's just a way of him protecting his own, right? Like protecting his own kid from another kid or adult from another adult. You know, however you want to look at it. You know, he's protecting him, in my opinion. So, like, I get like there should have been some de-escalation or whatever, but you know, like in the same breath, like he's just trying to protect his own. And I'm
I
not saying
mean,
he's right for it,
but in high school, definitely a no. Can't touch the kids. Absolutely not. There's no
sure, yeah,
excuse. I mean, even if they are 18, no excuse. NFL,
sure.
NBA, MLB, all the coaches that have done stuff to players, though, I mean, they've been suspended or had money taken. I think he should be held accountable for this and have something, maybe a light suspension, a talking to by the NCAA on how to be like a better coach. I mean, Bob Knight he didn't do anything to his players, but he threw chairs and he got in trouble for that. So I mean,
Sure.
I just feel like sometimes your emotions get the best of you. Bob Knight proved that over his career. Did that make him a bad person? No. But shoving a player, that's a bit different, because if Bob Knight would have thrown a player across the floor instead of a chair, we would have been having a lot of different talks. But he didn't. He kept himself together and he tossed chairs. I mean, chairs are it's better than a person. So I don't know. I feel like something should be said about it, like between the NCAA and the coach, maybe even the SEC coming in and just talking to him about it, giving him at this one, since it's his first offense, slap him on the wrist and be like, hey man, we can't do that. You're going to have to sit out a couple games. But
Right. Sure.
I mean, just to justify it.
Right. I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't think he should lay his hands on him, but the other half of it is just like, whatever. I mean,
yeah. Well,
I mean, it's over with. They both apologize to one another, and if that's how it is, if that's okay with them, then that should be okay with us.
maybe. I haven't heard if the players apologized yet, because I don't think the player did anything. So, but I haven't heard
Sure.
what Dennis Gates. I haven't heard what he said yet either. So, but we'll see. It may come out later. But
okay. For some reason, I was under the understanding that you had said that the coach apologized.
he allegedly apologized. He said that he did, but no one heard or saw it. So, I'm not 100% sure if it even happened.
Fair enough.
But we'll see. We'll see. Next up, we talk NFL, and we thought last week was going to be a eventful. I mean, it was, but buckle in here. This week looks to be just as fun. I mean, last week, yeah, the Eagles lose bad, Cowboys lose bad. I mean, almost embarrassingly. Lions and Rams, that was fun. Tyreek Hill got thrown to the ground like a rag doll. Josh Allen dominated. Texans rolled on. I mean, yeah. But I called the Texans as a dark horse. I called the Bucks as a dark horse. And I mean, prove me right there. Thank you guys. I really do. I saw your potential, so you're welcome.
I saw Texans potential for sure.
Yeah, I mean, great quarterback.
Yeah, they're both fun to watch for sure. And I like the fact that he praises our Lord Jesus Christ every single time he gets a chance on the mic, so it's cool. But yeah, so obviously I'm wishing him the best of luck and for that, but yeah, it's also crazy that Baker Mayfield performed that well. Like, it's not crazy. Like I know that he has the talent, but it's awesome that it came out during the playoffs. Hopefully it keeps rolling through.
We'll talk about that here in a minute too. Some other things with Baker, but I guess out of this, my question is: should the Buccaneers and the Ravens fear the momentum of the Texans and the Packers, because the Packers, they blew out the Cowboys? So, I mean, Texans, Packers, both coming off blowout victories, both bring in controlling dominant wins out of that.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I mean, if you've watched all season, you knew these two teams could do some damage if they made it into the playoffs. They got there. They've done it so far. Will it continue?
Right. And Jordan Love, he performed very well as well. So, yeah, it's a tight race right now. The NFL has scripted something very good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the funny thing. Everybody's like buying into this whole script now thing too. I mean, and it's sad that it's believable. It really is. Like
y'all were calling me crazy, bro. I mean, I've been saying it for a while. I'm gonna need an apology letter from y'all.
I'll get Jensen on that.
Right. No, man. I think what it is ultimately all this rigging in the NFL goes hand in hand with all the gambling that goes on in Vegas with all these Bet MGM and Caesar stuff, like obviously in DraftKings and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's been uh, that goes hand in hand with, why there is an incentive to rig the game.
Could be very well. I mean, referees have been doing it forever, right? Basketball, baseball, umpires
Right.
there. It's
Right.
it's weird.
Right.
It really is. But
And you don't have that many people to hop on board. You just get, the referee crew and maybe the
tick off
coaches.
the wrong crowd,
Right.
tick off the wrong player so you can get things to go your way.
Right.
Scheffers and Kelsey. Angel Hernandez and the whole MLB. I mean, you name it.
Right.
But
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
yeah, I can see it now. Is it 100%? Probably not, but I mean, it's got to lead way into it.
Yeah. I mean, I guarantee you, if they looked into it, they'd find something.
Probably. Wouldn't doubt it.
I'm
But
sure they're smart at it. Maybe obviously they're not directly doing it, but they're having somebody else do it for them, and
true.
they're getting that money laundered back to them.
Yeah.
Or another.
But moving on, we mentioned Baker Mayfield, and we talked the Bucks and Baker, and he gets a lot of trash talk from the Detroit defensive backs, telling him he's not a good quarterback, trying to get inside of his head. They got a lot of other weird things they're saying back and forth about receivers, and I mean that receiver ended up like not even being in. He's been out all season with an injury. He got hurt in the preseason. Then Baker told them, he fired back. He said, "Go watch some film again because your stats and stuff aren't correct. You guys aren't paying attention during your film sessions." But I mean, he doesn't really seem phased. He had all those years at Oklahoma. He knows how to shake it off. I mean, but this is the guy who wants, you don't want to give him ammo. Like, why would you
Right.
give him ammo to like come at you? Because this guy will come at you, and he will probably be successful. He's got a team that's hungry. They're coming off of the loss of Tom Brady. They're trying to find their identities without him. I mean, shoot.
Right.
Mike Evans had like a really rough year, but here he is in the playoffs. He probably didn't think he'd be there, but they are.
Still goes. I mean, like, he's still really good.
He is good.
Yeah,
He had like a slump just finding his identity in the season, but yeah, he's done well, and he's proved it over and over.
right.
So I don't know. That's another reason they're a dark horse, but I don't know. Baker, think he's playing it light, or do you think he's taking names subtly?
He needs to. He needs to take name. And if he's going to have any shot at making it to the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
if it's not, then he's going to have to have the ball out. He's going to have to play against the refs.
Very much so. Especially going up against, I think it's, Detroit there, as we said. So, I mean, that's going to be an interesting game to watch. I'll be watching that one closely.
Yeah.
But, all right. Lastly, for the NFL, I want to talk Jason Kelsey. And I mean, I did some deep research here, but right after the game, the speculation started. He was crying. He was upset in the locker room. He held a team meeting, and all of a sudden he's retiring. Like, no confirmation, no nothing. So I got on Twitter, X as you all call it now, and I looked. I see what Schefter reported. No one else. I was like, super sus, right? Like, I don't believe any of this. I mean, the guy who's being criticized by J.J. Watt, Pat McAfee, Aaron Rodgers, and many more players across the NFL because of all the stuff that he's done since his invasive effort to retire Tom Brady without Tom Brady even retiring. So, I mean, I thought to myself, here we go again. But time goes on. Then we get some others who confirm. And I found a video, though. I should have saved it. Should have been able to play it back for you guys. I apologize for that. But it was taken down the next morning but someone was at Kelsey's locker, and they asked him if that was it. Like, is this it? He said, "Not now, guys. We just lost." Everyone after that moment, like, they saw his frustration, and they were escorted out of the locker room. You could see it on the camera. They told him to go to the media room and wait, and then elect players ended up speaking, but not Kelsey, and obviously Coach Sirianni, he spoke as well. But Kelsey came out on his podcast a couple days later, and he was flustered that the rumor had started, and he has not addressed anyone of his decision yet. It was supposed to have a decision yesterday, is what I was indicated from his show, but nothing yet. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on Schefter here? I mean, if Kelsey does retire, I mean, he kind of stole his thunder. It isn't really being respectful. And I know Schefter's trying to do his supposed job, but I feel like sometimes he just goes out on a limb and just, oh, hey, yeah, I'm going to go with this topic. I don't know if it's 100%, but I'm going to get the rumor going, and we'll see where it goes.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what he gets paid to do. You know what I mean? Like he gets paid to bring attention.
Yeah.
So, um, so unless the leagues start doing something about him not being allowed in there, like,
I hope they do.
but I don't think they will. I mean, because it creates talk. You know what I mean?
It does.
And he's press. You know, and so technically there's a freedom of the press. So unless there's like some like heinous crime, I doubt they'll do something. You know what I mean?
I
He's
just
being
hate that he wasn't even in the locker room. I don't even know if he was at the game. But
right.
for him to come out and say sources say, and it's like, can you at least tell us your sources? Like, put them out there if you're going to say, hey, someone told me this. Give them credit.
Right.
Don't take
Right.
it on yourself. Give them credit. It's not that much of a secret if they're telling you, right? Or are they keeping it on the down low and they don't want to be known?
Right.
Which, I mean, yeah, that's happened, but still.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. I think it sucks. Like I'm not cool with it, but at the end of the day, if it stops for some reason stops bringing the NFL or other leagues money, like they're not going to change it. You know what I mean? Like they'll do something then if they start losing money, but no one's going to stop going to games just because some guy said something, right? Like so,
True.
especially not him. So I don't know, man. Like like it sucks, but they're not. I don't think they're going to do anything about it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, he's still out there and he's got a lot of flack over the last few years. So I don't know.
Right.
We'll see. All
Right.
right, now we go ahead and switch over to the NBA. We got a couple topics here, and then we'll go ahead and close out. But first up, a fun one yet again this week is it's an interesting one though, because this is the first time I've covered Harden, and he's been truly happy. This statement comes after his current team, the Clippers, takes down one of his former teams in the Thunder, 128 to 117. He also wants to keep the core of the team together. I, I don't know what's more impressive, him getting along or the fact that this Clippers team is getting more and more dangerous. I mean, this team is 18-4 since the beginning of December. They're starting to click. You got Kawhi there, you got Harden, you got Westbrook, and you got Chris Paul. I mean, Paul George, excuse me. Paul George. But I mean, if they can stay hot, this is a team that can make a run for it all. I mean, it's a bunch of has-beens, a bunch of old guys, but I mean, they got a chip on their shoulder and they won a championship. But what are your thoughts here? Is it interesting that Harden's actually finally happy, or are you like, all right, well, this is gonna be fun?
Yeah, I mean, he's still very volatile, right? So I mean, that could easily change by
Yeah.
tomorrow. So
Good.
I mean, I'm happy for him, right? It could also just be him being toxic and throwing a jab at the past team he was at. You know what I mean? Just like,
Very. Yeah.
but like,
I took that into consideration.
you know what I mean? So like, is he really happy, or is he just saying that because he's trying to, kind of throw a dig at somebody?
Could be. Could be. Wouldn't be surprised.
Right. So, I mean, that seems a lot more likely to me. Like, he may be okay with the decision right now. You know what I mean? And he just said something to kind of like back it up. But I don't know. That seems more likely to me than to him actually being happy.
A guy he should be taking some digs at is the one we'll talk next, and that's Draymond Green. And this will be our last topic of the show. But suspension, indefinite, done now. He's back in. Unfortunate events going on right now with the Warriors is the passing of their assistant coach, having a heart attack. I mean, team hasn't played a couple games now. That's just devastating. But
Right.
we'd like to continue to talk the topic at hand. Draymond, I mean, are you surprised with how short it was? Like you figured it would be a little bit longer, but I mean, I think it was in total of 12 games, maybe. He sat out 12 before they finally were like, okay, we think it's enough.
Come out of timeout. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised, right? Like, the NBA, they're a bunch of sleazeballs too. So it doesn't surprise me. Ultimately, it's they're losing money if he's not there, because that's still a topic for them to make the NBA relevant.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I'm not surprised.
I mean, I guess it was also rumored that he had to persuade him not to retire and call it a career because of everything that's happened lately. And it's kind of like that was his last straw. And I was like, it's an interesting take on that. Like, I want to know if that's true.
Right.
But
Who knows? I mean, until somebody confirms it, right? Like, or he or the team comes out and confirms it.
yeah, absolutely.
I think the NBA would be a better place without him. That's for sure.
I'd agree at this point. I mean, shenanigans got to stop some point.
Right. Like,
So,
man, you're an adult.
yeah.
You're
Yep.
playing a game. You get paid millions of dollars to do it. Is it really that serious?
True. Very true. Well, on that note, we head into the local sports update brought to you by Trackside Burgers. They are open at 1515 West 10th Street. Go get some of Chef Mike's specials this week, and they've been open through the snowstorm. I don't know if we get if we get this ice this weekend. I don't think it's predicted to hit here, but there's some people worried about it. Rightfully so, with everything that we just had happen with the whole week, and I mean a lot of places were closed. But go support these guys. Get in there. They were open through most of it, and they braved this cold weather. But I mean, you're cooking barbecue. Hopefully, you can survive that cold. But yeah. On the boys' side of basketball, we got Joplin. They're playing in the Pittsburgh Invite. Carthage is in the NEO High School Basketball Tournament down there in Oklahoma. Webb boys are at the Frontenac Tournament over in Kansas. And then Carl Junction is at Monette tonight. And Neosho heads to Forsyth tonight. And then as for the girls' side, Webb City is participating in the Lady Cat Classic. Carthage is in the Pittsburgh Varsity Invite over in Kansas. And then Carl Junction will be in the Bill Hansen Memorial Tournament. And Neosho is participating in the Gary Healing Invite. So go check them out this weekend. Make sure to check that weather forecast before you head out, just to make sure that you're not going to be running into slick situations. Make sure to check the team's social media pages too, as we said last week, because this weather is just, it's been unpredictable and we don't know what games are going to be happening. So make sure you check those out. But on that note, we head into the 2-minute warning brought to you by Hot Stone Pizzeria. Not feeling like cooking this weekend? Go grab some pizza by the slice over there. And yeah, MSSU men, they'll return to action Sunday as they take on Emporia State at 3:30. And that will be at Emporia State. And as for the women, they will try to keep this 9-game win streak alive. as they take on Emporia State as well. Their game will be at 1:30 this Sunday also. And I mean, these games could be postponed due to the ice in the forecast, or they may also be played early. So make sure you tune into their social media pages for MSSU as well. I mean, this 9-game winning streak, it's got MSSU women in first place in the MIAA right now. That they got a good thing going.
But
At this point, if they want to finish in first, they're going to have to win out or lose a couple, but beat the teams that are up there with them in this race as they go. But it's been fun to watch over the last couple of years, and then this year they're making it fun again. I mean, a lot happened after Lacey Stokes left, and then you have Maddie Stokes, and then you lost some other players, but then you get all these new guys in, and they're meshing at the right time, and it's awesome to see. So good leadership there. Know a couple of the players personally, and glad to see him being successful as well as Coach Russell. And yeah, Coach Straw over there too. The new assistant coach is Fritz left as well. But yeah, it's been awesome.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, good luck to them.
Indeed. And the music is here. So is the end of another episode for Tony, Jensen, Clint, and myself. Have a great and safe weekend. Stay warm. It's supposed to get cold. We'll jump back up next week. Hopefully everything goes well for you over the next couple of days as we get that little bit of Arctic air back in here. Don't forget, if you can and you want, Fridays 10% burritos. And if you get in this weekend, if you can't get in this weekend, Taco Tuesday or Thirsty Thursday, go get one free drink per entree or go get some tacos over there at Ghetto Tacos. So yeah, you guys have a safe weekend, and we'll see you next week on the Sports Timeout.
Peace.